Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg and I'm the founder of One Step Outside. We help people around the world create a business and build a lifestyle that brings them more freedom, flexibility and fulfilment. And these last few weeks we've been looking at why you should quit the 9 to 5 and why it's never too late to do so. But what if all this is resonating with you? What if this has been growing inside you for a while and you're ready to make this decision, or maybe you have made that decision? Now what? What do you do next? So making the decision is a massive first step, but it is only a first step, and there's lots of things that you're going to need to do now moving forwards to make this a reality. But first of all, some things that you don't need to do. You do not need to go ahead and hand in your resignation right now this afternoon. Don't burn any bridges. You want to get yourself into a comfortable position where you have a transition plan, you know what you're doing and when, and you never know what role your professional network is going to play in the future. So don't go in there and shout at your boss right away. Take your time to get into a better, more controlled position, as it were. Second, you don't need to invest in an expensive MBA from a prestigious school or a 4-year course to get signed up with some kind of formal qualification. I know it's tempting for those of us who are high achievers to get those things onto our CV. It builds our confidence and so on, but it's far from being necessary when you're an entrepreneur. It may be that you need some kind of formal certification, for example, to be a therapist, so depending on what you're looking at moving into, but don't make any rash decisions to invest in anything like that until you're really sure that's what you want to do, and that is required in order to move forwards. Finally, you also don't need to come up with a massive PowerPoint deck with a 10-year detailed bullet-pointed plan for your business. I'm all for having a strategy and a plan, but you're a solopreneur when you're starting out. You're not going to need to have that level of detail, and certainly it's not possible to map out the next 10 years. So take your time to clarify the idea and how it's going to work, but don't worry about making that sort of fancy, detailed business plan. And for a few things that I do think you need to do, first of all, get on top of your financials. Money is going to be a really important component in your transition. So understand and do the maths around your personal expenses, your cost of living, talk to your partner, your family, if you have dependents and so on. Of course, your whole family needs to be part of this discussion. And also do the maths on what you're going to need from your business. What are your monthly income targets, annual targets, both as an initial first step, perhaps to really validate the idea and to transition, becoming all in, focused on your business idea, and secondly, your ultimate goal as well as to where you want to get to. The second thing is to get really, really clear on why you're doing this, because it is going to be hard work, especially alongside a full-time job, maybe a family as well. And you are going to need to work hard and make some sacrifices. So you really need to understand that this is important to you. You need to understand what it's going to bring you in terms of that freedom, flexibility, fulfilling work and so on, and the financials as well, to make sure that you really are committed and motivated to do this. And finally, ask for help. Swallow that pride, swallow your ego. Yes, you are incredibly smart and capable. You have years of experience, expertise and skills that you can absolutely take and transfer into the new business. But to some extent, you are starting from scratch. It is a very different thing to run your own business than being a full-time employee. So do look for people who are a few steps ahead of you, join support groups, maybe go to an event, find a mentor coach. Do what you need to do, but don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness. So if you'd like lots of inspiration, reassurance and tips on how you can make this transition from the corporate 9 to 5 towards building your own business, going freelance, maybe changing sector and so on, join the waiting list for my book. It's out on Wednesday the 3rd of October, so not long now at all. It is at leavingthecorporate9to5.com. The book is called Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, Stories from People Who've Done It and How You Can Too. And as I said, it's full of inspiration, hopefully giving you both the reassurance and confidence you need as you begin this journey, and also some concrete tips and takeaways that you can implement right away. So that's at leavingthecorporate9to5.com, and I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye for now.